myself onto the stage. There we go. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to Career Coach Office Hours. Tuesdays at noon Eastern, I like to spend a little bit of time answering questions from job hunters because I believe that job search doesn't have to be as hard, difficult, painful, or take as long as it does. It's just the skills needed to find a job are different from those needed to do a job. And thus, most of you haven't really done a lot of job hunting in your lives, and you're kind of an amateur at this. That's not me. I'm someone who did search for a long time, and now people hire me for no BS job search coaching and career advice globally because I make the process of finding work and succeeding at it much easier. So for today, if you've got a question about your job search, put it into chat so I can answer it live. In addition, I want to invite you to connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/the Big Game Hunter. That's going to go into chat and up on the screen now. Bear with me. There we go. So that's who I am, which I know you could see up here. Let me just see if up there. And my LinkedIn profile URL as well. So connect with me on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/the Big Game Hunter. Mention that you saw this. I like knowing I'm helping some folks. Once we're connected, your network is going to be a lot larger because, frankly, I'm member 7653 on LinkedIn. There's more than 1 billion people on the platform. And although for years I didn't accept connection requests from recruiters, my network is still pretty large. So by all means, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/the Big Game Hunter. Also, I'm going to invite you to JobSearch.community, which is, there we go, up there. Now, I've been giving something away for the month of January 2025. This offer disappears on February 1st. If it's midnight February 1st, it's over. So if you go to JobSearch.community, scroll down. There's some free stuff there. Feel free to download my free content. But if you scroll down, you'll see a button that says Become an Insider. If you click on that and then look for the option that says Insider and click on that, it's going to take you through a process to become an insider. And when you get to checkout, enter the code INSIDERFREE, all one word. And I'm going to put that into chat as well, so that this way I'm giving this away for free. Insider Free is the coupon code for people who want to take advantage of all the content I have available there. The video courses, books, and guides, they're all free. And I'm going to be adding stuff to it fairly soon. So again, become an insider for free. The offer ends February 1st, 2025. So take me up on it. Many of you already have. I know that because I get the notifications when people do. You'll be on the autoresponder series. I'm not going to take that down for you. Just ignore it if that's what you want to do. But if you'd like my help personally, you can schedule time for coaching with me, and I'd be very happy to help. You can do that again through the website, JobSearch.community. You can message me there, just message me in some way, shape, or form. And it'll be a paid session, but I'm here to help because, frankly, I've seen so many open to work hashtags since the beginning of the year on LinkedIn. I just decided to give this away for free. So instead of spending $49 a month, I'm giving it to you for free. Okay. So I received a number of questions, and let me just start off with an apology for starting today's show a little bit late, but I wound up needing to teach a class that ended at noon, and I just needed a minute to get this set up so I could start helping you as well. So thank you for your patience. and let's get rolling. And again, if you've got a question for me, put it in the chat so I can answer it live. So the first question is, what makes someone memorable in a final interview? It's a great question. Now, understand that at a final interview, they already have a number of impressions of you from their previous contacts with you. So you may have spoken with HR, you may have spoken with your future boss, people on the team. They already have a number of impressions of you. The question comes down to, what are the negative impressions they have, and how do you overcome them? It's not necessarily about being memorable per se, but making you the one that they want to choose, because you're already sufficiently memorable from your previous conversations that they're thinking of hiring you, and maybe they've brought back 3 people in total and they're trying to choose between the 3 of you. So what makes them choose you? And the answer is, number one, is you resolve that previously identified issue in their mind. What's the previously identified issue? If you think back to your previous interviews, usually there was a rough edge that surfaced. And that rough edge is the issue. If you think about it and identify what that rough edge is and can casually talk about it in the course of your conversation with this final person, that's normally enough to resolve it. Another one is, as I've said many times, competence is not just simply what they look for. They look for self-confidence, character, chemistry, maybe a little bit of charisma. Charismatic people always do better than non-charismatic people. That you care about doing great work, that they can connect with you, so that this way they trust you. If they don't trust you, if they don't believe you, you're not going to get hired. So how do you become memorable? You become the solution to their problem and take away any concerns they have that you're the right person for them to choose. Rockford, welcome. And I want to be maximizing my search time. Should by leaning into getting as many applications submitted or getting as much networking done as possible. So I want to say networking is the most time-consuming, but the most rewarding. The statistics I've seen that come from LinkedIn, as a matter of fact, is up to 85% of positions are filled as a result of networking. 85%! So that tells me most of your time should be spent on networking. On the other hand, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be applying to jobs. It's not as time-consuming as people make it out to be. So yes, continue to apply, but most of your time should be spent on networking. In applying for jobs, one of the things I'm going to encourage you to consider, if you haven't already done so, is to have a LinkedIn Premium account. This is one of the reasons why to have it, because they use AI that once you identify a job on LinkedIn, you're able to click, how do I match up, as an option. And it's going to go through your background from your profile to demonstrate to you how well you match up. Are you strong fit? Are there certain things that they see that are deficient? You may have those deficient skills and can correct them on LinkedIn. Do it. Also, make sure with LinkedIn you have the top skills options used in multiple places. That could be the About section, each individual employer. It could be in the skills section. Have your top skills identified, so that this way the algorithm recognizes it too. So most of your time should be done networking. However, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be out there applying for jobs, because job applications don't take as much time as people make them out to be, in my opinion, and thus do both. But most of your time should be done with networking. I hope that helps you. And if it doesn't, ask for more. I'm happy to go in deeper, or to answer another question from you, or from anyone else for that matter. Next question is, how do employers view individuals who've been on the job market for an extended period of time? Not well. That's the truth of it. They think there's something wrong with you if no one has picked you up and you've been out of work for a year or more, 9 months or more. We're also at a time of year where if a person says 2024 to that they left their job, that was their last date of employment, employers start to think, when in 2024? Was it January or December or someplace in the middle? So the idea of being clearer about when you left the job becomes more important. If you've been out of work for more than a year, you're best off looking for contracting work, temporary work, some sort of gig, an interim role that allows you to reestablish your credentials rather than waiting for an employer to open up a job that you apply to that they'll talk to you about and then hire you for. And you may look at starting a business as well, delivering services like the ones that you provide at other firms. So they don't look at it favorably. That's the fact. After all, let me just tell you a quick story from when I was a very beginner recruiter. So here I am. It's my third or fourth week doing recruiting. And I'm interviewing someone to evaluate them for a job that my firm is trying to fill. I've got, like I said, 3 or 4 weeks of experience. So people are telling me, Rockford, I'll come to you in a second. People are telling me, ask them where they've been on interviews. Now, the reason for that, I don't want to go into. But when this person told me 19 firms so far, and they hadn't been hired, and they had 2 second interviews, I figured out pretty quickly this person probably wasn't that good. So if you've been out of work for a long period of time and you've had a lot of interviews, they figure out there's something wrong with you, or they assume that there's something wrong with you. So the long and the short of it is, yes, they don't think highly of people who've been out of work for a long time. Rockford asks, should I be networking by trying to make lots of weak connections with people or fewer strong ones? Reconnect with people from your past first. As I like to point out, excuse me, I'm going to reach for my phone. If they're in your phone, they earn the right to be there. Sorry, it's not that obvious with the Zoom background there. If they earn the right to be in your phone, start with them. Reach out and say, it feels like 100 years since we were last in contact. When the new year started, I decided I would reach out to people from my past, say, hi, how are you? Your name popped into my mind. I'd want to see how you were professionally. What's going on? How's the dog, cat, wife, husband, partner, whomever it is? Get reconnected, find out what they're doing. You can then say, I am looking for something. I wasn't here to ask you for a job. Although if you offered me one, I wouldn't mind. But I just wanted to see how you were. And if you hear of something that would fit my background, let me know. And then stay in touch with them. By the way, is there anyone you know who I should be talking with who might be doing this kind of work? You may not know if they're looking for a job, but I'm just trying to talk to people. And that's where you start working on the weak connections, the weak ties, in order to expand your reach. So start with strong, ask for recommendations of people, stay in touch, because the stay in touch might be something as simple as, I really enjoyed our conversation. I don't know if anyone might have popped into your mind that I should be in contact with, not because you know that they're looking for a job, but they may know someone who knows someone who you don't know that might be able to introduce me to a firm. Ones that I mentioned, 85% of positions are filled as a result of your network. Originally, when I used to have a podcast called Job Search Radio. I don't know if anyone's picked up that title, but I discontinued the podcast many years ago. My existing podcast is No BS Job Search Advice Radio. It's the OG of Job Search podcasts with more than 3,000 episodes over more than 14 years. So I interviewed someone for Job Search Radio who was the founder and operator of one of the largest networking groups in the world. It was an executive network, and when I interviewed him, he said 70% of positions are filled as a result of networking. This is a while back. And then he said something interesting. 70% of the 70%, or 49%, came as a result of introductions to people that the network knew who you didn't. Applying that 70% logic, 85% of positions are filled as a result of networking. If 70% of them, it's closer to 60% now are filled as a result of introductions to people your network knows who you don't. So take the time to connect with people from your past and ask for recommendations of people who they might know who might be helpful. When I did recruiting, that's basically the way I would network to fill jobs. I talked to someone who had a particular background. I said, your background looks good for this role. You may not be interested. And they might say, I am actually interested. And let me tell you what I've done since we last spoke that might fit this role. Or they may say, I'm not really interested. Would you know someone who I might be able to reach out to? They may not be looking, but they may know someone who's looking. And if you like, I can keep your name out of it if that's your preference. Anything that allows you to extend your reach serves you. And that's what you're trying to do. Start with strong ties and expand from there. Rockford, I hope that's helpful to you. Don't hesitate to ask more. I'm going to take other questions in the meantime, but thank you. I appreciate your courage in asking questions. I'm here to help. And folks, I'm going to go a little longer than I normally do. I normally would end this at 12:30, but I started late. I'm going to go longer, okay? I applied for a job one morning, got a call later that day to come in for an interview the next day. Interview goes great. How likely am I to get the job? Who knows? Who knows? You may think you did well. They may not think you did great. They may be talking to 25 people and, they all think they did great, or you may have done great and 3 other people did great too. So you can't tell just from that piece of information whether or not you're the one that they're going to choose. They're going to look at your background, compare it to others that they're screening, and come to a decision probably about next steps in the interview process, which may be another interview. It may be that they're going to decide on someone or something. So patience. Send them a thank you note, thanking them for making the time to meet with you and reviewing a couple of things that you thought your background really fit well vis-a-vis the role that they're trying to fill, and that you're going to follow up with them in a couple of days. Make it real simple. If you're not quite sure what to say, use AI to help you. Ask AI for a sample thank you note for after an interview to thank people for making the time and summarizing how your background fits the role. Okay? Good luck. Hope that was helpful. I'm also going to mention, if you want to connect with me, again, it's linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. Also, JobSearch.community, where I've got video courses, books, and guides, coaching from me. There's a lot I can do to help you. And the insider tier, I'm giving that away for free for the month. I'm going to give away that membership, and you need to become an insider by February 1st. As soon as it's midnight for February 1st, it's over. So if you enter the coupon code INSIDERFREE at checkout at jobsearch.community for specifically the insider level of service, you'll have access to the content on the site for free. Coaching with me will cost money. I'm happy to help you in that regard, but become an insider. It's free. Click enter insider free at checkout, and it's yours. Okay. Let's keep rolling with, when a job interviewer asks for a previous career failure or mistake, what is he or she really testing for? The answer is self-awareness. They want you to acknowledge that you actually make mistakes, that you have a degree of emotional intelligence. I have to also say, and they don't think this way, but it's actually pretty courageous for adults to admit, I made a mistake. Now, how to answer that question is really very simple. Talk about something from when you were an early career professional. For those of you who are mid-career professionals, really go back to your first year or two. When you were a newbie employee with a firm. And you can say something to the effect, you start laughing. I remember a time when I was a beginner, year, maybe 2 years on the job, and I got an assignment that I didn't want to appear dumb. So there was something I didn't really understand. So I decided to try and power my way through. And boy, was that a learning lesson for me. Notice what I'm doing is acknowledging a mistake. I've got a laugh there. And then from there you go, suddenly I've got problems. And it comes time for the date where I'm supposed to deliver, and I can't. And I tried to figure it out on my own, and I couldn't. So what I learned from this is that, I need to ask for help sometimes and get advice instead of trying to always figure it out on my own or tough it out, because my work had an effect on others. Suddenly, my lateness adversely affected an entire project, and it was because of me. And I don't want to do that again. What I know is if there's a problem, I need to own up to it pretty quickly so that in this way, it doesn't have an adverse effect on others. So that kind of a story is a great way to answer that question. So this way, you acknowledge that you're not perfect, that you do make mistakes, and what you learn from them. Okay? So again, if you've got a question for me, put your question into chat so I can answer it live. Also, connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/the big game hunter. Another question. If a company takes down a job posting after you've had an interview, does that mean you're being considered for the position? A definite maybe. We can't tell. It could have been that they paid for 30 days. The 30 days is up and they don't want to pay anything else. You're probably being considered if you haven't been rejected, but it doesn't mean anything. I know you're trying to read between the lines of this thing, but it really doesn't mean anything. What it means is their posting of this job has probably expired on the particular website that you saw it on. They don't want to pay for more, and thus it's been removed or taken down by them or by the website itself. So are you being considered? Definite maybe. Let's keep going, okay? I applied for a job and the response was, your application is being considered. What does it mean? It means your application is being considered. It came through their system. It's in someone's inbox, and they are looking at it. Maybe they forwarded to a hiring manager. Maybe they're just not ready to reject your application for employment with them. We can't tell because all they're saying is it's being considered. So a lot of firms will acknowledge right away that a person's been rejected. They'll send you a message that says, thank you for forwarding your resume for such and such position. We've considered your application carefully, and at this time, we don't think you'd be an ideal match for this role. Good luck, best wishes, adios, and they move on. But that's not what they said to you. Your resume is being considered is different than that, right? Excuse me. Sorry. I apologize. I taught a class before. I put out a lot of energy to the group there. So all it means is that your application is still under consideration. You haven't been rejected yet. Here's another question. Do hiring managers typically avoid hiring junior developers due to the need for more guidance and support? No, that's not why they don't hire junior developers. They believe that the junior developer doesn't have sufficient experience to do the job that they want to have done. They may say to themselves, great kid, but I need someone who can do this from day one without any effort on my part. So I don't want to train someone. Takes away from my job, which is really managing and leading a group and getting results from the organization. So it's not really about the need for more guidance and support. It's really about the fact you don't have relevant experience and you're going to take up more of their time than they really want to give. Okay? Let's see now. Probably going to do one more question after this one. Okay? Are professional photos important for job applications? No. Are they important for your LinkedIn profile? Yes. So on your LinkedIn profile, you want to have a great headshot. And it's not enough to take your phone and take a picture, because although you may have a 4K camera in there, it's not a professional headshot. A professional headshot makes you look world class. The photographer knows what she or he is doing. Get a professional photo taken. It will cost a few dollars. It's worth it. It will help you look great and can be the basis for other photos that you use, because they're not just going to take one picture of you. They're going to take a bunch of them. I know that's what happened for me when I had my headshots taken. A bunch of pictures were taken, and the result was great headshots that I use in a variety of different places. Yes, it does make a difference. One looks like an amateur, one looks like a professional. Always try and look like a professional, okay? Here we've got more. Let's see. My apologies. Is it possible for anyone to be hired for any job through connections on Facebook? Why not? You know someone through Facebook, you have relevant skills and experience. Why wouldn't they hire you through your connections on Facebook? Now, they're more likely to do it through LinkedIn, maybe even X. People do connect through X and wind up getting jobs. People certainly connect on LinkedIn and get hired. Facebook, no different. It's just there are fewer ways to transition into the professional conversations from the personal ones, unless it's someone that you actually know well. And even then, why don't you just pick up the phone or send a text to them and say, I understand you're trying to hire such and such. That's my background. Could we speak? Do you want to see a resume? Whatever it is, try and engage in a conversation with them so that in this way, your Facebook connection gets an understanding of you and your experience. So I hope you found today's show helpful. I'm Jeff Altman. Visit my website, JobSearch.community. Become an insider there. There's free stuff. Let me just start off with that. There's free video courses and a few free videos and a few small ebooks that are available for free on the homepage. And then from there, scroll down, click the Become an Insider button. And at checkout, you click the Insider option, because there's 5 others as well. You click the Become an Insider option. And at checkout, enter the coupon code Insider Free in caps. And what you'll be able to do is get access to all the content there for free. If you'd like to have a conversation with me, message me. We'll schedule a time to speak, and I will charge you for that. And connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. I'll be back next week with more. And in the meantime, I hope you have a terrific day. Be great. Take care.